Ever feel like your life is on repeat? The same arguments, disappointments, and patterns. No matter how much you change the scenery or people, it's not just bad luck. These cycles are reflections of unhealed stories from your past. But you can break the loop. You hold the pen. Your past doesn't have to dictate your future. The power to change is within you, starting now. Our emotional blueprint is written in childhood, shaped by how we learn to love, feel safe, and get our needs met. We form silent contracts, like needing to be perfect to be loved or hiding our feelings to belong. These contracts follow us into adulthood, shaping our choices, until we bring them to light and choose new terms. What emotion feels familiar but also unsafe? Is it anxiety, rejection, or feeling invisible? These old emotions feel like home, but not a safe one. Our nervous system craves what's known, not what's healthy. Noticing this pull is the first step to freedom. Ever notice the same feelings or situations following you, no matter where you go? In relationships, work, or friendships, you might find yourself stuck in familiar patterns. Overlooked at work, drawn to distant partners, or always the listener in your friend group. Recognizing these repeating stories is the first step. Map them out, and you'll see it's not random. It's a pattern you can change. Toxic patterns are masters of disguise. They rarely announce themselves, instead creeping in as something noble, like compassion or hard work. Society often rewards these behaviors, making them hard to spot. To see past the disguise, question your justifications. Only then can you peel back the camouflage and reclaim your power. Every repeating pattern has an emotional soundtrack. It's the set of feelings that plays on a loop in the background of your life, accompanying the recurring dramas and disappointments. These are the emotions that feel like home, even if it's a dysfunctional home. For many, the dominant track is a low-grade anxiety, a constant feeling that something is about to go wrong. You might feel most normal when you're slightly on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop. A state of calm can feel deeply unsettling because it's not what your system is used to. Peace feels like the eerie quiet before the storm. Another common feeling on this soundtrack is a sense of responsibility for everything and everyone. You might carry the weight of other people's moods and happiness on your shoulders. If your partner is unhappy, you believe it's your job to fix it. If your boss is stressed, you feel a compulsive need to lighten their load. This feeling of over-responsibility often leaves you feeling drained, resentful, and completely disconnected from your own needs and desires. It's a heavy burden to carry, yet the thought of putting it down can feel terrifying, as if everything would fall apart without you holding it all together. For others, the recurring emotion is a quiet feeling of not being quite good enough. It's the sting of rejection or the dull ache of being overlooked. This feeling can be so familiar that you subconsciously seek out situations that confirm it. You might not apply for the promotion because you already feel you won't get it. You might misinterpret a neutral comment from a friend as criticism. You are so accustomed to the feeling of inadequacy that your brain actively scans the environment for evidence to support it, ignoring all the evidence to the contrary. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, powered by a familiar feeling. Identifying your emotional soundtrack is, honestly, a game changer. Take a moment to tune in. What is the primary emotional flavor of your life? When you think about your most challenging moments, what is the feeling that connects them all? Is it anxiety, guilt, rejection, loneliness? Don't judge the feeling, just name it. Write it down. Acknowledging this emotional current is like finally noticing the music that has been dictating your dance moves all along. Once you can hear the music clearly, you can begin to consciously choose to dance to a different tune. Let's connect the dots. How do childhood blueprints shape adult behavior? If you learned I must be perfect to be loved, you become a people pleaser, terrified of conflict, always suppressing your needs. If you learned my emotions are a burden, you build walls, seem strong, but avoid intimacy and feel alone. If you learned I'm only valuable when caring for others, you become the rescuer, drawn to people who need fixing but never feel loved for just being you. These patterns aren't random, they're logical responses to old survival strategies. Recognizing this link is empowering. You can now treat yourself with compassion and start rewriting the script. Our first lessons about love come from home, not words. If love was given freely, you learned you're lovable and safe. If it was conditional, you learned love must be earned. These lessons form your attachment style: secure, anxious, or avoidant. Secure attachment means trust. Anxious means you crave reassurance. Avoidant means you hide your needs. These are survival strategies, not flaws. They shape every adult relationship until we become aware and choose differently. From these early lessons, we write invisible childhood contracts, unspoken rules for survival. Maybe you vowed, to be loved, I must be invisible, or my worth is my achievement. These contracts were smart adaptations for a child, but now they hold us back. We follow outdated rules, staying silent, burning out, or clinging to others. The key is realizing these contracts exist and questioning if they still serve us. Only then can we break free from their grip. The skills that protected us as kids, hypervigilance, independence, people-pleasing, become self-sabotage as adults. Hypervigilance turns into anxiety. Independence becomes isolation. Peacemaking leads to resentment. We're using childhood maps in an adult world. This isn't about blame, it's about honoring our resourcefulness and choosing new strategies. Thank your old survival skills for their service. Now, it's time to let them go. Our childhood wounds become ghosts in our adult lives, triggering outsized reactions to small events. A partner's glance or a boss's comment can unleash old pain. We're not reacting to the present, but to echoes of the past. We're drawn to familiar dynamics, hoping for a different ending. Healing begins when we recognize these ghosts, pause, and offer compassion to our younger selves. That's how we start to break the cycle. We often choose familiar pain over unknown happiness because our brains crave what's predictable, even if it hurts. Old emotional climates, anxiety, criticism, responsibility, feel like home. We repeat patterns not out of weakness, but because they're survivable and known. The unfamiliar, peace, stability, can feel scarier than old wounds. Breaking free means tolerating discomfort and trusting that new, healthier patterns are possible. The first step is daring to step off the well-worn path of pain. Then, your nervous system's job isn't happiness. It's survival. It sees anything familiar, even if painful, as safe. So when you meet kindness or peace, alarms go off. Not because it's bad, but because it's new. This isn't your fault. With compassion, you can teach your system. You can be safe too. Sometimes, when life finally feels peaceful, a healthy relationship, a stable job, it can feel strangely wrong. If you grew up in chaos, calm feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. We might sabotage our own peace, picking fights or creating drama, just to feel that old rush. But recognizing this pattern is the first step. With honesty and practice, your nervous system can learn that stability is safe. Emotional chaos can feel addictive, like a roller coaster you can't get off. The highs and lows, the drama, even the pain, create a powerful pull. Leaving feels like withdrawal, and peace can seem empty. Breaking free means learning to find excitement and self-worth from within, not from chaos. The first and most powerful tool for breaking any cycle is awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. Imagine building a watchtower in your mind, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Journaling helps you notice patterns and triggers, creating space between you and your emotions. This self-awareness is the solid ground for lasting change, an act of profound kindness to yourself. Once you have established your watchtower and have begun observing your patterns, the next step is to get more specific. It's time to name the ghost we talked about earlier. This means identifying your core triggers, the specific people, situations, words, or behaviors that reliably activate your old childhood wounds and emotional contracts. A trigger is not just something that annoys you, it's something that provokes a disproportionately strong emotional reaction. It's the spark that lights the fuse of your past trauma, causing an explosion of feeling in the present moment that feels overwhelming and out of your control. To identify your triggers, look at the data you've been collecting in your journal. Do you notice a theme? Perhaps you are consistently triggered when you feel unheard or ignored in a conversation. This might link back to a childhood contract that says, "My voice doesn't matter." Or maybe you are triggered by any form of criticism, no matter how constructive. This could connect to a vow that says, "I must be perfect to be safe and loved." The trigger is the external event, but the explosive charge comes from the unhealed wound within you. It's the ghost in the machine getting rattled. Making a list of your core triggers can be an incredibly illuminating exercise. Be as specific as possible. It might not be just criticism, but criticism from authority figures. It might not be rejection, but the feeling of being left out of a social plan. Some common triggers include feeling controlled, feeling abandoned, feeling misunderstood, feeling responsible for others' emotions, or feeling like you are not good enough. Naming them takes away some of their power. They are no longer mysterious, terrifying forces that hijack you. They become known quantities that you can prepare for and manage. Once you have your list, you can begin to see how these triggers are the gateways to your repeating patterns. The trigger happens, the old wound is activated, you react with your learned survival behavior, people-pleasing, withdrawing, lashing out, and the cycle continues. By understanding the trigger, you find the very beginning of that chain reaction. It's like finding the faulty switch in a complex electrical circuit. You now know exactly where the problem starts, and that is the precise point where you can intervene and choose a different response, cutting the power to the old pattern before it can even begin. Knowing your triggers is one thing. Changing your reaction to them is another. The key to this transformation lies in a simple yet profound practice: the sacred pause. This is the moment you consciously create between the trigger and your habitual reaction. It might only be the length of a single deep breath, but in that sliver of time, lies your entire power to change. For your whole life, the trigger and the reaction may have been fused together, an instantaneous unconscious reflex. The sacred pause is the act of prying them apart, creating just enough space for you to make a conscious choice. Let's imagine a scenario. Your partner says something that triggers your feeling of not being good enough. Your automatic, programmed reaction might be to get defensive, to withdraw into silence, or to start an argument. This is the old pattern running on autopilot. But now you have your awareness. The moment you feel that familiar sting of the trigger, you implement the sacred pause. You take one deep, slow breath. In that moment, you are not suppressing the feeling. You are simply not reacting from it. You are stepping back into your watchtower. During this pause, you can speak to yourself with compassion. You can say, "I am triggered. That old feeling of not being good enough is here. It's okay. I am safe." You are acknowledging the ghost without letting it take the driver's seat. This internal dialogue calms your nervous system, which is screaming that you are in danger. You are reassuring the younger part of you that this present-day situation is not the same as the past threat. You are parenting your inner child, offering the comfort and safety you may not have received back then. This is an act of deep internal healing. With practice, the pause can become your new default setting. It is a muscle that you strengthen every time you use it. At first, it will feel difficult and unnatural. You may only catch yourself after you've already reacted. That's okay. The goal is progress, not perfection. Over time, you will get better at catching the impulse earlier and earlier. The sacred pause is your portable laboratory for change. It is in this quiet space that you interrupt the momentum of the past and give yourself the freedom to respond to the present with the wisdom and strength of the adult you are today. The first steps to a new story begin with awareness and the sacred pause. You can rewrite old limiting beliefs, declaring them void, and choosing new empowering ones. Place your new affirmations where you'll see them daily. Each small action is a vote for your new identity. This is how you break the cycle and write a new, authentic story. We've journeyed far, uncovering old emotional contracts and seeing how childhood survival skills shaped our pain. Now, you have the insight and authority to step onto the stage and call cut. The pen has always been in your hand. A new unwritten story awaits, one you get to write, starting now. Embracing a lifetime of growth means meeting yourself with boundless compassion. Breaking old patterns isn't a race. It's a journey of gentle, consistent effort. Each stumble is part of learning, not failure. Celebrate small victories, nurture new habits, and remember, you are not broken, but always becoming. This journey is the destination, one compassionate step at a time. Life on the other side isn't free from pain, but you're no longer imprisoned by your past. You feel worthy, set healthy boundaries, and find peace in stability, not chaos. You become your own safest harbor, breaking free from old cycles. The most incredible story is the one you're about to write. Begin now.